Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another apartment renovation. And we are back in Salim Benali's apartment, which is 910 Medina Studios. I probably just recently renovated this apartment, maybe 2 or 3 times. I am pre-recording a ton because I am really far ahead of my own schedule, oddly enough, which never happens. And I have renovated this apartment a handful of times, so hopefully you're not bored of it quite yet. I'm not even going to apologize because there's no point, because you're watching the video anyway. Okay, anyway, we are renovating this apartment this time for a single sim is what I was envisioning. Now, I wanted to go with a darker color scheme this time, and I was kind of going for not necessarily a modern look, but kind of like a modern contemporary look with the interior and the furnishings and things like that. I didn't really have that much of a vision for it, which is why I kind of started out with these Jungle Adventure cabinets, thinking like, oh, maybe I'll bring a little bit of a rustic element to this. But then I found the swatch of one of the Dream Home Decorator cabinets and countertops, and I really, really liked it. I thought it worked perfectly with the look that I was going for. So I used those instead, which was really nice. I loved how they looked with this silver or gray, I guess we'll call it gray. The gray fridge and the other gray appliances that I went with, mainly stainless steel is what I would be thinking, which is the only way to go. If you get new appliances, do stainless steel. I promise you won't regret it. I love my stainless steel appliances. It's the first time I've had them too, which is really exciting. But this is a very tiny kitchen. Since I was only envisioning maybe like a single sim or even a couple possibly living here, I did only add this small breakfast table with 2 seats. Now I think only one of them is actually accessible, though I may shift the table ever so slightly to make the other chair accessible. But again, I was thinking mainly just 1 sim. You could have 2 sims if you'd like, but I was thinking 1, and I was thinking that the sim is a writer. Now I think they might be like a traveling writer though. Maybe they're a journalist of some kind, I don't really know, but they don't spend a ton of time at home, which is kind of why I went pretty light with the clutter for me. For me, that is. It's definitely not minimalist in any capacity, but I went a lot lighter with the clutter than I typically would because I think this sim travels a good amount. They do have an office to kind of work on writing, and they have like a ton of books and bookshelves and things, but I don't think they spend a lot of time here. I would probably give the sim a laptop alongside the desktop computer that they have in their office. If you were going to play with a sim like that, I don't know. That way they can kind of write on the go. But I did clutter up the kitchen just ever so slightly because kitchens, even if you're not there a lot, have usually a fair amount of clutter. So I put all of that pretty much in the corner, and there's this little shelf over the stove and the oven because I only had 1 more countertop to work with, which was this one. I also put this little, what is that? Like a little bulletin board type thing, whatever you'd call that, little cork board. I put that over there because I was just trying to mix up some of the decorations that I was putting in my kitchens. And you can see that I used half walls as well to look into the living space, which I thought was kind of nice. It made it feel less closed off. And with this apartment, as you all know, it's a reasonably small unit. I think it's probably the smallest apartment unit that we have. And there usually are needs TLC objects here. Now let me just call out the elephant in the room. You don't see any right now because I didn't realize this is what was going to happen. So I used the tool mod to delete them, and I thought that I could do that temporarily, but I can't get them back in this save. So they're just gone. I have other saves where they're not gone, but just be aware of that if you do download this apartment, those items are missing, which means that I built as if they were not there. So if you have the tool mod and you're on PC, delete those items and then nothing will happen, which would be great. But if you are not on PC, I apologize because this will block a lot of those items, which means that it would likely be a little bit more challenging to use this apartment unit. Every now and then I will ignore those objects. You know, I don't always do it. I try to build around them more often than not, but there are definitely times where I just want to be creative with floor plans and just have a little bit more fun. I know it makes it less usable, so again, I apologize, but hopefully there are plenty of other apartments or builds that I've made that you could use instead. Maybe one that kind of sort of looks like this, I don't know. But I have talked through the entire living space. I really loved using this swatch of the love seats from Seasons and using this, I think it's a coffee table from Dream Home Decorator because it kind of has that gray concrete looking texture, just like the countertops in the kitchen. So I really, really liked that. And I gave this sim a pretty large screen TV because you know what? I think they're a very successful writer or journalist, whatever they may be. And when they are here, they kind of want to live in a little bit of luxury, okay? Like, it's called self-care. Well, maybe it's not called self-care, but this sim works very hard. They don't have anyone else to take care of aside from themselves. So they like nice things and there's nothing wrong with that. So they have this really nice big screen TV so they can have like cozy movie nights when they're actually at home. And then this is going to be the bathroom. So there is just a shower and then of course a toilet and a sink, all the things your sim would need. But again, make note that where that little storage unit thing is, that's typically where the circuit breaker box would be. And I think where I put the toilet is typically where the pipes would be, the leaky pipes. So just to give you a heads up, just in case you download it and you're like, wait a minute, what the heck? It covers all the stuff. But I really liked the bathroom too. It was a pretty decent size considering how small this apartment is and considering what I wanted to fit in here, but I thought it worked nicely. I think it was still fairly cozy. Of course, it's functional. It's everything that your sim needs. Nothing crazy, nothing super elaborate or anything like that. And since it is only one sim, I thought that having just the shower was perfectly okay. There's no need for the shower tub combo unless I wanted to make a sim that was really into baths when they were home in their apartment, which could also be the case. Now, I do make some small adjustments to the size of this room here off camera. You'll see them eventually and definitely in the screenshots, but I wanted to make it, I don't know, kind of an easier shape to work with. So I chose this bed from Cats and Dogs, which I end up keeping because I love it. I love this swatch. And over to this wall over here, like over on the, well, the right-hand side from where you're looking at it, I kind of made a faux, well, actually, no, it's real because technically the hanging clothes count as a wardrobe, but I made a little bit of an open kind of like walk-in closet thing over here. And I thought, man, that's a great use of the space. I never do this stuff. But I ended up really disliking it over here because I had an entire wall opposite the bed that I didn't know what to do with. And I thought adding a wardrobe or a dresser would be kind of silly considering that these two things technically count as dressers and wardrobes. So I was going with more of like a compact, again, modern contemporary look here with making this open closet, but I thought having a dresser was kind of pointless because again, I don't think they spend a lot of time here anyway. So they're constantly packing a bag to go so they don't need a lot of storage at home. That was at least my thought. But yeah, I end up making an adjustment to this room right about here and I made it a little bit smaller so it just makes sense. It's a little less awkward. And then I just add some pieces of artwork on the walls to make it feel a little bit less empty. And I do put this faux hamper here. Again, it does block that side of the bed, but the scoot feature works great, at least in my game. And if it's for a single sim, they can just sleep on the other side of the bed without a problem because they can access it no problem. I'm also choosing some overhead lights. I was trying to get a little bit more creative with them, I think. And I did use these from Eco Lifestyle, I want to say, which I don't use often. So that was kind of nice as well, even though you can't see them with an apartment with like the super tall wall height anyway. I guess it doesn't truly matter. And then over here in the entryway, I do put a console table, which I end up selecting this one right here, which I never use. So I loved using that. I add this little coat and hat scarf rack from Snowy Escape. Even though those are skis, I thought it was still very cute and the colors matched what I was going for. I've got the little mail and key rack and then just one singular plant over there on the table. And then I thought to myself, you know what? You've got this extra space. I don't know what to do with it. Like, I don't know what else to do with it. Let's just put a washer dryer there. So that's what I did. And then this room ends up being the office, the other little room, which you could, of course, turn into a bedroom if you did want this to be for more than one sim, or if there's like a child sim or something, if you wanted to do like a single parent thing, you could totally do that. But the office is fairly small. There is this really nice desk from Base Game, a very nice desktop computer, and then I just end up using, I want to say I ended up using the like fashion designer board thing. I did it thinking that this is where the sim could, you know, make their storyboards and plot out their ideas for certain stories or books or something. You can't actually do that, but that was the idea. And then I added a few bookcases here from Discovery University. I was gonna stack them to make them look really tall, but it looked a little bit awkward, so I ended up ditching it. And then I just add an armchair in the corner. But that is pretty much it for this apartment renovation. I hope you all enjoyed this one. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts. And I will catch you next time I post a video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
'Cause when